Hello, and welcome to an introduction to the Delaware Campaign Finance Reporting System. My name is Will McVeigh. I'm with the Libertarian Party of Delaware. I am currently the Kent County Chair, and I am a former candidate, so I am somewhat familiar with this process. I'm going to be working on my committee, which is going to be a very simple and very straightforward report to do this time around, because I didn't have any actual activity in 2019. So we're going to be doing the year-end report for 2019. And start by signing in. When you register your campaign committee or your political committee, you will provide your email address, and that's the username they're looking for there. And I believe when you first file, they'll give you a password or they'll help you set it, something like that. Either that or you can just go to forgot password and help you get it all set up. Anyway, I've come in and reset this. Apparently they make you reset it every year, so I've just done that and then log back out. So that we can show you starting from the beginning. So log in. It will ask you to verify your information. Yes, that's correct. And then it tells you this is what you need to be doing. You need to be doing the year-end report, and that is due in approximately 29 minutes. So we're going to do this relatively quickly as far as just getting it done initially. Now, if you're our paper candidate, and you raise no money and you spend no money, you don't really need to do a whole lot here. And that is essentially what we're going to be doing for my 2019 report, since I didn't actually do anything over the course of that reporting period. So what you can do is as soon as you log in, if you don't have any activity, you can go straight to edit/file pending transactions. Select the filing period that you're filing for. We are doing the 2019 annual. Do a search. There are no records to view because we haven't put any in. File all to state. Are you sure you want to file pending transactions to the state? Say yes. It gives you an ending balance here, and for some reason my autocomplete wants to stick my email address in here instead of anything else. But what it's looking for is for your balances here to match. So we started with $48.25, which is the carryover from 2018, and you want to confirm that. And then the ending balance, then it calculates this one based on all the transactions that you put in. We've put in no transactions, so don't expect anything to change there. But what it's looking for here is your reported ending balance, which is actually your account balance. So like you look at your PayPal account, your bank account, whatever, you add it all together, the cash you got sitting in a box in the back of your car, and put in what you come up with, and it's supposed to match. It won't let you submit it if they don't. I mean, actually, I'm wrong. I checked that. We tried this before. It will let you submit it even if it doesn't match. I'm not sure how it will eventually end up handling that. If you get a call from somebody in the future being like, "Hey, why doesn't your uh, account line up?" But anyway, mine does line up because I have no transactions, and this is just my PayPal balance. So then it'll ask you to retype your password here. If you're a candidate, you have to authorize as the candidate. Authorize all information in the report package is accurate and correct. Abide by all the rules and regulations, blah, 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 blah. Click submit. That's it. That's all there is to it. You can then view print that. It'll bring up the PDF copy of your report. And you won't be able to see this because my screen capture device is only opening or only showing the browser. It's not going to show you when I open a PDF in Acrobat. And it's going to take a minute to open up because my computer is slow and ridiculous. Let me see if I can quickly add this to the scene here. Bear with me just a moment, if you please. Well, that looks hideous. get that to show up correctly here. Give me just a second. Anyone who's interested, I'm using a piece of free software called OBS. If you Google OBS, you'll find it. And it does the screen capture and recording. Like I said, it is free. Anyway, now you're looking at the Delaware Elections Campaign Finance Section financial report for the committee to elect Will McVeigh, being me. My committee was open when I was running for Representative District 34. This is the year-end report. It's not closing. It's not an amendment. I will show you amendment stuff in just a moment here once we look through this. Beginning balance, no transactions, ending balance, there it is. Receipts, this is in whether they're itemized or not exceeding $100. You don't have to um, itemize anything under $100. So if you stick a can out at a campaign event and end up with less than $100, you don't have to itemize it. You do have to report it though. So if you're a paper candidate and you're not raising any money whatsoever, you don't have to put anything in here. But if you raise even a single penny, you have to report it. For a state representative position in particular, any partisan office really. The one office I know of off the top of my head, you do not need to start a campaign committee for is school board, unless you raise or spend more than $2,000. No, $500. It's positions paying less than $2,000. Anyway, when you file your paperwork, you'll get the information from the Commissioner of Elections. They'll tell you whether or not you actually need to have a campaign committee open or not. They will tell you that. But I think that the school board is the only one I can think of. Some municipal offices may not require it either, but the school board I know does not require it unless you spend more than a certain amount of money. This is expenditures, in-kind receipts, in-kind expenditures, loans received and debts incurred, loans and debts outstanding, intercommittee shared expenses, non-cash assets, elimination of assets. Most of this, if you're running a basic campaign, even if you are raising money, you're probably not going to have to worry about. But as I said, with the paper campaign, where you're not actually raising or spending any money, it is very straightforward, and we are already done doing that. Now, let us imagine, for the sake of demonstration purposes, that you actually do have some things you need to put in here. When you go into your menu over on the left-hand side here now, you want to enter contributions, transfers, in-kind contributions. This is basically everything coming in. You have to add your contributor name. First thing you need to do though is you need to select the filing period. Oh, it is not letting me do that. It's not letting me select the one I just did. Amend transactions for that. Oh, yeah, okay, because I'm amending a report now. Because if I was going from if I was coming in here fresh, I'd still have the 2019 annual available for entering contributions and transactions, and that's how you would normally do it. But since I've already submitted it with nothing in it, that's not available as a filing period here. It's already been submitted. So instead, we need to amend transactions. And when we come in here to amend transactions, we can say new contributions, or we can do new expenditures, debts, loan, payment, non-candidate loan, return contributions. So do a new contribution here. This is the same screen that you will see on the other screen. So if I do this as, call it cash, then it'll update the form if it needs to. Contributor type, we're going to call it a political committee, just for the sake of argument, because political committees, you'll notice the contribution limit here went up to 3,000. If I drop it back down to a individual, it's only 600. Business group or organization, also 600. So it does update what your contribution limit is based on your contributor type. But if I do a political committee, search contributor name, Now we'll do a search here, but it is a little bit slow. Libertarian Party of Delaware. That's the treasurer. We are related. That's my mother. Put in a date here, and I mean this is bogus, so it doesn't really matter. But contribution amount now we'll call 200. Put in a comment there. Hit submit. Contribution saved successfully. Now, if I go back to the menu, it's showing me amend transaction. So I have to do amend because this is all amended now. I can't file this because this is not a pending transaction. That report, rather, is not pending. So this is all has to be done through the amend screen now. But if I search for 2019 annual, now that that comes up, I can file the amendment to the state. If I'm closing my report now, you file the closeout report. I'm not doing that, so I'm not going to click that. But this is all fairly straightforward. I mean, it is a little bit confusing when you first come into it. For example, the first time I signed in, I was, running a paper campaign at that point, raised no money, spent no money. I couldn't figure out how to deal with that. And it took me a while to find edit file pending transactions. And you saw there just now when I was trying to amend it, I thought I could go in through here. I can't. You got to go in through amend transactions and then do it in the buttons on the bottom here. So it's a little bit confusing sometimes, but it's really not all that bad. You can edit your pending transactions as long as they are still pending. It'll reload all the information for you. You can change whatever you need to change. Cancel that. I can also delete pending transactions, which is what we're going to do because this is not real. This didn't actually happen. Delete the selected record. Okay. Select this transaction successfully deleted from the system. Now if I do another search here, no records to view. So nothing to be done. And all the rules as far as what you're allowed to take in and stuff like that are all kind of spelled out for you when you file your campaign paperwork. They'll give you handouts for that. You can always contact the Commissioner of Elections office, and if you ask to speak to Robin, she's very helpful. You can also contact myself through this YouTube channel or on the Libertarian Party of Delaware website. Email addresses are all posted there. You can get in touch with the treasurer, Mary Pat McVeigh. There are lots of people available to help you, but hopefully this video will give you a nice little introduction. You know more or less what you need to do. Something I will also show you real quick, just because it's worth noting. Not contributions. I don't want to look at contributions. I want to look at a new expenditure. The expenditures can be a little bit pedantic here because you have to actually justify your expense as a legitimate expense for a campaign. So pick something in here. Now, what you need to keep in mind is that sometimes cramming what you're doing, which is perfectly legitimate and perfectly legal, into the choices that you have here is not exactly easy. Like, say, for example, you're doing a fundraiser and you need to buy food or something. I could pick fundraiser here, and I can pick food and beverage. So, like, that is actually available as a choice. But, for example, let's say it's not actually a fundraiser. Do you still call it that? You can call it that. Field expenses. I mean, there's all kinds of different choices in here, but it all kind of gets updated based on what your expense category is as to what the expense purpose is. So what I'm going to say is don't worry too much about getting this precise. At the end of the day, if you really are hurting to find something, you can do other. I mean, that may invite you to be audited by the Commissioner of Elections, but as long as you can justify what you're doing, they're not going to lose a whole lot of sleep over which categories you pick here. So, find something that works and sounds vaguely right, and don't worry too much about it. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do for now. I think this was a pretty straightforward and pretty simple, clear-cut explanation for how to do a campaign finance filing for a paper candidate in particular, and that's really the ones that we want to help out with this kind of stuff. Just to make sure that the bar for becoming a candidate with the Libertarian Party is as low as we can possibly make it. It's not a learning curve that you have to get over. Although I did show obviously a little bit of information about how to get yourself started if you are running a little bit more of a serious campaign. On that note, I'm going to do one thing that I think will be particularly helpful if you are getting yourself started here, and that's contributions from yourself that you may want to set up as a loan. And how can I do that? So this is me learning with you here. Candidate loan from self. So this will generate a new loan. It filled in my own information here. Now it says 600, but you can actually, loan yourself as much money as you want to. So if I set this to 2019 and do a contribution amount of 1,000, contribution saved successfully. See, I didn't care that I was over the limit. But now, if I preview the campaign statement, now since I'm doing preview, this will not actually file it, but you can see my ending balance has been updated here to reflect the loan. And now if I generate the preview filing, and this is again going to take a minute because my computer is slow opening up the reader. While I'm waiting, I can go ahead and go back. It still shows that because this is all part of the amend transactions. So now if I open this up, let me just verify that it's displaying correctly. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay, so now when I scroll through this, it shows loans received because of the way we categorized it when we put it in there. So it doesn't show up as a total receipt here. It doesn't show up as an in-kind receipt. It's not an expense reimbursed. It's a loan. And loans at end of period is 1,000. Now you can keep that outstanding for as long as your committee is open. And the nice thing is that if you do actually get contributions to cover that, you can then pay yourself back, or you can convert it from a loan into a contribution, and leave it in the committee and close it out that way. So a lot of first-time candidates, when they don't have a whole lot of fundraising coming in to start with, they can start off by financing a loan, put some of their own skin in the game to start with. Um, and if they get enough contributions to pay that loan back to themselves, great. If they don't, oh well. Excuse me. Although, from a political standpoint, to take contributions from others to pay back your loan so that you actually have nothing in the game, you could argue that that's not very, good faith or whatever. But that's up to you. That's your choice. You can do that however you want to do that. Your contributors will have to know that that's a possibility if they donate to you and you have an outstanding loan, that you may be paying that loan back with some of their funds. But that is that. So now I will go back and I will delete that transaction again because, again, I did not actually loan myself $1,000. And I do not want to include that in any amended report. The records to view. Anyway, so now if I go back to the view edit, there's a home page somewhere. I don't think this was it though, because that was where we started when we first logged in. It showed the showed a login screen. Maybe that was reminders. Yeah, that was reminders. We were looking at reminders. So message is to do that. Due dates for the 2021 annual is not until a while from now. It says 2021. I'm pretty sure they mean 2020. But in any case, that's it. So then you can go ahead and log out. Are you sure? Yes. It'll take you back to the CFRS homepage. and I will include the link to that homepage in the description for the video. So thanks so much for watching, and comment on the video if you have any questions. Contact me through YouTube. Look at the Libertarian Party of Delaware website, lpdelaware.org. Link will also be in the description. And find my contact information or the party's phone number. Any questions you have, we are more than happy to help you. Thanks so much. Bye.